Storytime about my weird cellmate. So a little background information, I was 17 years old and a junior in high school. Yes, I was 17 and I was being charged as an adult, so I was in with a bunch of women. Well, one night after dinner, my cellmates and I are watching true crime shows, because that's what you do when you're in jail. Watch true crime and CSI and all that shit. Anyway, so we're watching our shows and we see a new girl come in. She's got her blanket packed. Part 3. Okay, part 3. She fucking has a knife up to my neck, screaming at me. And I'm staying quiet as fuck because I do not want to get my throat slit by this bitch. So all I see is my boyfriend rip this bitch out of the car and start stomping her in the fucking ground. And whenever he went and ripped her out of the car, the knife like slashed my leg open, so there's fucking blood everywhere. And we're like at the beginning of his cul-de-sac, so all the fucking neighbors are outside watching him stomp this bitch into the ground. And then one of her friends comes around the other side of the car, grabs me by my hair, rips me out.
He's probably not coming for like hours, but I just wanted to get ready. Thank you so much for watching and wish me luck. I love you!
In honor of my ex last night breaking no contact for the first time in months to add me on Snapchat and ask me if I logged into his TikTok and messed with all his stuff, which I did in fact do, I decided today I'll tell you how dirty this bitch did me. Now let's start off with me breaking up with him.
For when you sit there and they bring your shit out to you. And another 5 whenever you're picking something up that you already ordered. But in all honesty, that didn't bother me because I had never heard about any girls getting trafficked at a grocery store. Like for part 2. Part 2 about how I almost got kidnapped at a grocery store. So like I said, I parked all the way in the back of the parking lot. I mean, okay, not all the way in the back, but I was damn near close. So I go in, and I'm not too familiar with this Target. I've only been here a few times because...
No, and it says something along the lines of, please do not say anything out loud, but I think you're really pretty, like I want to talk to you. With your literal child sitting beside you, I literally look at it, I look at him, and I'm like, no. You're here with a woman and a child. And then he holds up it again, and he's like, did you read it? I'm like, yeah. If there's one thing in the world that makes me like, ugh, it's being a weird, sus, rat cheater. Then the girl comes back from
his ex holding hands and hanging all over each other at the beach. So I had work that night and I just so happened to work with his best friend. And I told him about how he was being super distant and how I saw all those pictures all over social media. And he was like, yeah, we never spilt beer on your blanket that night. He was actually with his ex and they did it on the blanket. Moral of the story, don't date the guy who's named a player, because it's probably for a reason. Story time about how I was the side chick. So it was my freshman year and I had just moved to a new school.
Decided to show up to my school's football games even though she didn't even fucking go there. Well, the one night she met my boyfriend. She texted me about it that night saying, oh, he's super cute, da-da-da-da-da. I asked my boyfriend what he thought of her and he said that she was weird and she was hitting on all of his friends. So I thought I didn't have to worry about them getting together, right? Wrong. He had invited me to this party and said that I could bring her, so I decided why not give her the benefit of the doubt. Jenna and I had planned on leaving that night because my mom couldn't pick us up in the morning. Well, Jenna ended up...
And I'm fucking freaking out and don't know what to do because I wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. And he's like making all these types of noises, so I go and I run down the hallway, I try to find his parents' room, and I open the door and have to wake them up dead out of their sleep. And I was like, your son's having a seizure. So his mom runs over to the room, and his dad's like, well, who the fuck are you? And why the fuck are you in my house? And I was like, your son told me that I could stay the night last night. Oh, like for part 3. Part 3. So like I said, his dad's like interrogating me right now. So they call in... Used me to get with my guy best friend. So a little background information, I was 15 and in 9th grade. Well, at the end of summer, right before school started, this girl named Liv added me on Snapchat. And I had seen her all around school. She was very popular and a little bit stuck up. But I added her back and then I got a call on Snapchat from her. I answer very awkwardly and I'm like, hi. And then she was like, oh, I've seen you in a lot of this guy's pictures. Are you guys like best friends? And I'm like, yeah, or to come to the bathroom with me before the bell rang. So we go in and I immediately grab a paper towel and put it under some water with some soap. And I go to put it on her neck. And she starts screaming and like ducking and swerving. Well, I ended up swiping her neck with the paper towel. And there is makeup all on this paper towel. And the bruise is just like smudged all over her neck.
So I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? She told me not to tell anyone, and that was her way of making friends, even though this girl had plenty of friends. So when we got back to class, to find out who Millie is in a second. So we go up to the room and, we start doing the nasty. And next thing I know, some girl walks in screaming at him and breaks a beer bottle over his fucking head. She starts calling him a cheater and everything else. And I get a glimpse of her and it's one of the girls in our friend group, named Millie. So I'm fucking shook right now. I'm laying down. He's on top of me. Blood's fucking dripping down my face. And finally she realizes it's me. So I hurry up. I get my clothes on. And Millie's just sitting there looking at me. So I go downstairs.
How are you still single? Yada, yada, yada. I honestly just wanted to eat and leave so bad. So here I am texting my friend that I just got fucking catfished. And while I was going in and out of my purse, I dropped my phone on the floor. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, why the hell is she telling us that part about the phone? Well, because I'm pretty sure that he put something in my drink. No, like he 100% put something in my fucking drink. So I hurry up and eat my food and drink my drink because I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And my drink tasted totally fine, like there was no bitterness or anything. So while he was getting the check, I went to the—
With some respect for you, babe. Wait, no, because I forgot this is the same girl that I found as like a struggling Twitch creator. Like, bro had been streaming for 2 years and probably had like 200 followers and like 9 viewers. Let me know why I fucking donated to her, mentored her, got her to start YouTube, taught her how to do everything, gave her a shout out on my YouTube channel. And a bitch still has the nerve to be like, when I post about you, I don't give you. Like, don't bite the hand that feeds you, babe. I mean, it's my fucking fault. I always do shit for people that I just know don't deserve it, and it's my fault. It's literally—
Chef G, I put this on it, some bacitracin, and yeah, and I put peroxide on it too to make sure that it doesn't get infected any more than it is. But yeah. These gummies are so good. They're not even gummies, they're multivitamins. I've been eating them like a candy though. I need to stop doing that. I feel real though, I gotta watch
this close, arguing. And then she didn't say nothing. I looked over at her and then she finally said something. Like, girl, what are you doing here? Do your job, you're a teacher, what are you doing? So we were being really loud, I guess, or he was actually being the most loud. I was literally just sitting there laughing in his face. Anyways, so after that, more teachers started coming out and more kids started like looking out and stuff, obviously because there was an argument. I mean, I would do the same thing. But my PE teacher had came out and then
next day and he starts apologizing about everything. And then he decides to make a new Snapchat account and starts talking to me on there, thinking that I was just gonna block his other account. He posts a picture of his baby mama. So at this point, my Virgo self and I were done with the bullshit. By the way, he's a Gemini, so if that doesn't explain it, I don't know what will. So I start dating my new man, and I commented on all of his posts. I guess I'm not surprised she's not the only bitch you're fucking with. And if you try lying, I'm going to spill the tea. Like,
I just flipped the switch. So I just did it. We're putting on our coats. It's February, by the way. He pulls on black leather gloves and says, "These are my murder gloves." He then insists on walking me home, meaning he continues to walk next to me even though I continue to ask him not to. At one point I tried to turn on a street that wasn't mine and he said, "We haven't walked 15 minutes yet. This isn't where you live." There's a doorman building next to my building and I walked in with a big smile on my face and said, "This man outside is stalking me. Please pretend I live here." And this has been today's episode of Things Women Do to Avoid a Confrontation That Might Lead to Murder. Tell me about the—
Get ready with me while I tell you how I stole my best friend's boyfriend. So no, I did not actually steal my best friend's boyfriend, but we are not friends anymore because she thought I wanted him. So basically, to kind of give you a little background information, I have a cousin that's a guy, and we were born a week apart. We live on the same street, so we're really close, so we kind of share friends. So since we kind of like shared friends, anytime like guys were over my house, girls were over my house, and guys were over his house, we kind of just became a big friend group. So we had like a bigger friend group of guys and girls. There was this one specific guy, like we weren't ever anything, but like we had conversation.
Lunch, we would go like in the same hallway to go to fifth period, and she started accidentally bumping me in the hallways, like. So she would constantly give me dead stares, and then she started accidentally bumping me in the hallways, and I was getting a little upset, but I was trying to keep my cool because, you know, like, I was running for prom queen, so I couldn't really do anything. So yeah, I was constantly trying to ignore the bumps in the hallways because I really, trust me, I wanted to put my hands on her, but
Like, life just went on. Like, I never really thought of this guy, but he was subbing for this other teacher in a different grade. I was in 8th grade, so I think it was 7th graders at the time.
And this is when things started to get a little bit weird. Honestly, I had no idea he was even still working for the school at this time. But I just remember being told, like, you remember that sub? Like, apparently he was following girls after school. I'm not exactly sure the details, so if you went to my middle school and I'm telling the story wrong, I'm sorry, I don't know.
I just dropped to the floor. I call my best friend, like my best friend, and I'm like, this girl, and I'm like obviously explaining everything, and she's like, Liv, like we were both in shock, and obviously like there's no resolving this. Like, you stole my clothes. So obviously she answers my call because I texted her on text messages, and we normally didn't text on text messages. So I said like, oh my god, I have crazy tea, and obviously she's gonna answer. Also, sorry this video is so long. Like, this story time is crazy, and I don't want to make this into 3 parts for you guys. But I just realized I am actually at 7 minutes, so go to part 3. It's literally gonna be 15 seconds.
Jay, because she wasn't supposed to know, and she leaked his nudes.
Story time. Would you call this cheating? So a little background information. I was 16 and a sophomore in high school, and I was dating this guy who we're gonna call Tom, right? When we started dating, everything was super good. But a little bit into our relationship, I started to get the ick. Anything and everything he would do would literally irritate the hell out of me. So at that point, I told him that we should take a break. So we did. Well, while we were on this little break, I decided to go out with my cousin. Kind of looked at the guy like, are you fucking crazy? Because my dad at the time was a bodybuilder. And he was like, what the fuck is he gonna do? Like for part 2. Okay, let's get into it. So I'm not saying that because my dad's a bodybuilder that like he could kick his ass. It's just like you don't mess with, you know, a dad's kid, like girls, especially when we were his girls. So he called the school. We ended up going to court, and my dad, like, at court was literally like, if you ever lay a hand on my daughters again or like threaten my daughters like that, I will literally kill you.
My friends are hanging out, like, I don't even know, we're in like, I don't even know where we're at actually, and we get into the elevator, and I was like, get out the elevator, because she said something so like out of pocket, y'all, and I said get out, and she was like, why was I get out? I was like, I want to fight. And she was like, oh, why? And I'm like, girl, like, what are you talking about? I was like, you always trying to punk me, da 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 da. And she's like, nobody's trying to punk you, girl. And I was like, nah, you're by yourself.
Honestly been waiting like 2 years to tell this story because it was kind of scary. We didn't want this person to see this video or find where we were, but I think it's been long enough now to talk about it. Also, ignore my self-tan hands. Really, I haven't figured it out yet, but we're working on it. This started back in 2021, September, end of summer. I just started dating my boyfriend. We were sitting on the couch, drinking wine, just made some dinner, and we heard the doorbell ring. My boyfriend got up to answer the door. We weren't expecting anyone, so it was a little weird. He answered the door, and I just...
Die.
Why is that a thing?
Honey, don't worry. I'll vote for you to stay. I'm going to vote for you to die.
What? Why?
Because you're annoying, sissy.
Emily, get over here! Hey, bestie, you're going to vote for me to stay, right?
Of course I am. Whoops. I pressed the wrong one by mistake.
How do you press the wrong one by mistake? It's fine. It's fine. As long as this appears under 50% by the end of the day, I'll be safe.
I would have bought it for you. I was like, my bad. But then I showed him how expensive Sephora was, and he was like, oh. Like, Loki kind of forgot about it. We were just, like, living our life. Oh my god, this is so hot. And then we get a letter in the mail. And this is where the Popo repercussions came in. This is getting, like, super duper long, so I'm gonna do a part 2 where I tell you what happened next. Because it's really funny. But this is like, don't do this. Like, this is, I'm trying to say you don't.
My besties at the time. So I used some of my birthday money to pay for the pizza for all of us. And when I got back to Emily's house, they were all already in the pool. So I was kind of mad. 1, because they didn't go with me, and 2, they were just hanging out without me. So we're sitting there eating the pizza. And then after, all 3 of them get in the pool and they start taking pictures with each other. Not even asking me to be in any pictures. So at that point, I was so annoyed. I was just like, you guys are being so rude. And Emily's like, what are you talking about? We didn't even do anything. And then, of course, Stacy and Savannah agreed.
That hung out every single day. But yeah, my parents think that doing the nasty before marriage is a sin. Being gay is a sin. Pretty much doing anything is a sin. So the one day I was in my room watching RuPaul's Drag Race. By the way, I don't know if I pronounced that right. And then my mom walks in and she says, I don't want you watching these men in wigs and heels, acting like females, blah, blah, blah. That's a sin. Like, Mom, go get a fucking life. Thanks. And then she says, if I find out you're a part of this, you're going to need God and Jesus to protect you from me.
Actually click. So when I heard this, I was like, oh, let me share this. Maybe it could help somebody. You never know. So yeah, ladies, that's all I got for you today. Be like woman number one.
Get ready with me while I tell you about how somebody in my family found my account and they decided to comment my videos and say that they understood my situation and that they're saving up for a place too, and that I'm welcome to go whenever I'd like, and that they're sorry for my situation. But then they went to go tell their mom.
It's giving pathological liar. Like, I tried to be nice, but you're not getting your ass up and moving, and you're going to wake my mom up, and she's gonna get mad at me. And so then I got mad, and I was like, get your ass up and go. Now, now, go. I was so mad, and she finally gets up, goes outside, sits outside, crying, cussing at her mom, like, come pick me up, and she's like, it's 3 a.m., I'm not picking you up. She's like, I don't give a shit, come pick me up. You know what I mean, right? Ends up convincing grandma, mom, I don't know, to come get her. And
started beating one of the sons in the head. No one was ever brave enough to live in the house again, and the building went up in flames in 1925.
Storytime. One evening, my wife and I had picked up our daughter from her friend Sally's birthday party. We brought her home and put her into bed. But later that night, after I'd gone to bed, I heard her come into our room. She came up to the edge of the bed and started pulling up my shirt sleeve. Guess how old I'm going?
It's a remix and I'm coming with that pretty bitch, I'm tryna.
Military person, and he had said that he got like shot in the head or something, and so he had like some sort of like mental problems. I don't exactly remember what he said, but something along those lines. And as someone who like has a lot of respect for those type of people, I was like, oh my gosh, like that's why he's like a little weird. Like, I don't know, I didn't really think much of it, and he was definitely creepy, but I was like, he's in the military, like I respect him, so it just went right over my head. And I again only had this sub like 2-3 times, so honestly,
it was me. It's like, hey guys, with 2 exclamation points and then an email in her bio, which I didn't really think anything of, like whatever. And then I look at her email and it says like her name and then talentnation.live, which is what my email is, but that's because I'm signed with a talent agency. So anyone in this agency is gonna have that same email. So I was like, oh, she must be in my agency. I did think it was a little weird because I think she only had like 3,000 followers, if I remember. And I'm one of the smaller creators signed with my talent agency. So I was
up. So they asked me if we could hang out. They said they wanted to give me an early birthday present. So I said yes, of course. Like for part 2. Part 2 about my toxic friend group. So like I said, they asked me if we could hang out to give me an early birthday present. So I said yeah. And Emily had a pool at her house, so they asked me if I wanted to go over there. And of course I said yeah, it was summertime and it was hot outside. Well, when I got there, they asked me to order the pizza and they said that I had to pay for it. So I said yeah, because they were.
But just know, I still won't go behind your back and say stuff bad about you, even though I really just like would never go behind their backs to jeopardize any situation that they literally already put themselves in. I'm the one sitting here trying to fix it for them. Like, I'm such a person that if you do something wrong towards me that I would never do to you, you're not allowed to be associated with me. And it's not just my friendship this person was jeopardizing. No, it was my friendship with another person as well. I'm not coming on here to talk bad about this person whatsoever. I'm literally just coming on here to remind you that if someone is doing something to you that
I go to the bathroom and Nicole pulls out Nair. And I asked her what the hell she's gonna do with that. And she was like, oh, I've seen some people do pranks on YouTube. You know, they put it in somebody's shampoo bottle and then it makes them lose their hair. So since I'm the only one who thinks logically, I'm like, Nicole, you cannot fucking do that. And she's like, oh, don't be such a baby. This shit doesn't even work anyways. All the videos that I watched, people only lost like 4 strands of hair. Which made no sense because why the fuck were we gonna do it then? Anyways, fast forward, I go to sleep. I wake up.
He used to mess with this other girl named Bree before he started to mess with me. And Bree got really sad that, cause she really liked him, and so she got really sad that he didn't want to like be in a relationship with her, basically. So when he started messing with me, she got mad at me. So Miss Girl is mad at me, and she was like,
fucking front door open. And Jay's like, I can't believe you didn't come and talk to me after that, blah, blah, blah. What is this relationship? So then Mike steps in and he's like, yo, you need to drop her. She just tried to make out with me, blah, blah, blah. And I sat there and I was like, yeah, it's true. So Jay starts bawling his eyes out and goes to the fucking kitchen to grab a knife. So after that, Mike called the cops on him, and Mike and I are finally dating now.
Story time about my extremely toxic boyfriend. So when I was in high school, I was dating this boy for 3 months. We're gonna call him Nick.
They're on vacation, but I did go scuba diving and found some baby shark teeth in the spring. I haven't worn makeup in like 3 days, so my eyelashes are feeling really nice, and I'm about to ruin them with more mascara. And then I'm probably gonna sleep in it tonight and complain that my eyelashes are falling out the next day like they always do. Okay, anyways, that's it. Love you, bye.
Get ready with me whilst I talk about my girlfriend's reaction